You
Gotcha.
is my tablet got me the opposite way, then the way I get, you look the opposite way. Now you looking
Gotcha.
upside down. So let me change it. We're gonna go back this
We
way.
trying to get it together.
We trying, y'all. We trying. But we here. All right. I think we good to go. I already have a recording. So take off when you want. I'm gonna prop this up a little better. And we are good.
Whew,
We did
we're
it.
good to go.
Yes. We did it, y'all.
Well, good. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Couch Chat Podcast. I have a very special guest here, Guru underscore Mellow Hosh. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah. Guru Malahash, yeah. Underscore, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hello. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Good. Glad that we got this set up a lot better.
Yes, that was kind of why people only knew what we had to go through just to get this
Yes.
little
Yes.
episode in. It took a lot, but with persistence, it comes, it comes with it. So I'm glad we got that together.
That's true. That is very true. That's true, y'all. That
So
is
I know
true.
you were telling me the other day you wanted to speak on AI, and it's funny you said that because we had a meeting at work on Friday. It's like a quarterly meeting that everyone has. So the
Mm.
type I work, the work I do, I am hired with the federal. I am a TSA agent, so that's what I do. So
Uh-huh.
I work in a set location, and they are talking about possibly getting um, those portable machines in where people can walk up to them and do their own TSA pre-checks.
Yep.
So I asked
Yep.
the question. I said, where does that stand? With the agents, the enrollment agents' job. What we do,
Yeah.
and the reply that we received was, you're all safe, and this is just a temporary rollout into maybe supermarkets and different things of that nature. But
Yeah.
my thing is, how long is that going to last before, God forbid, they try to push us out? And a
Hmm.
lot of people are losing their jobs behind AI, and it's just
Yeah.
really, really sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And you say you were TSA, right?
Yeah, I do TSA enrollments, basically anything with transportation, TSA pre-check, TWIC cards, and hazmat endorsements. So that's what I do.
Hence the wrong because you're gonna be in different departments. Long as it's in TSA transportation, like you said, jurisdiction, you'll be roaming around. Is that what the wrong part is?
No, I do enrollments for
Oh,
TSA. So let's say you
enrollment.
walked in,
Enrollment.
correct. I
Right.
do the
Got you.
applications, I do the fingerprints, and I submit the background checks out. So that's what I do. So
Mm.
I know that the machines may not do everything, but I don't want them learning my job. I don't want them learning, what
Yeah.
I've, put in these past few years. And
Years. Yeah.
I was looking at a post a couple of weeks ago about a nail tech.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, a customer, she went into what was it, Ulta Beauty.
Okay.
So it's in, I think, Naperville, Illinois, and they
Mm.
have the machines there where they're AI machines where they actually do most of the work for you. You have the nail tech there. I mean, they'll file your nails down, but you put your nails inside the machine. The
And they
machine
handle the
actually
rest.
paints them for you. Yes. So I mean, think about how many
Wow.
people are fearful of their job or have
Yeah.
already lost their job, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's all about survival because
Yeah.
God forbid you lose your job, you still have to pay rent.
Yeah.
Landlords don't care about
They
that. I
don't.
mean, you
They
still
are
have bills. They do
ruthless.
not care.
They don't
I'm
care.
telling you, during COVID,
Hmm.
they did not care.
They
People
don't
still
care.
wanted their money. And in a
Hmm.
way, I had to kind of respect it because they have their own bills to
Bills
pay.
to pay. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's true. That's true. I always wonder too with this whole advancement of AI and the quote unquote convenience that it brings to the human race. I always wonder like if this progress and they take majority of the jobs, what is they gonna do with the leftover humans? And when I ask this question, I want people to think about the current state of the society of humans. And what I mean by that is uh, a lot of us don't know ourselves. A lot of us don't know our worth unless we were trained to be of value in this industry, in this system. We not critical thinking well. We don't know how to survive on our own outside of paying bills and all that stuff. So it's like, are y'all is y'all doing this for the human race? Because if that's the case, then y'all got to start teaching humans to know how to exist outside of these AI because they're going to be on the rise. They're going to be taking these jobs, and I don't see any conversations just yet about the institutions teaching humans a new way of living amongst robots. So I feel like it's a setup. It's a setup. Like, oh, we doing it for convenience. I don't know because I don't see the convenience. I don't see y'all preparing humans for these robots to take over. So that's why I say it's a lot of bull crap with that.
Well, I mean, I agree with that. And the argument that a lot of people have, well, there's a lot of room in the trade industry, for HVAC and people that need to pick up a trade. But
Mm-hmm.
how long is that going to last? I
Last,
mean, we never expected AI to take over the way that it is now.
yeah,
I mean, when I first saw things like the Waymo, the vehicles with no driver, it's like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
the
It's
world is just
crazy, right?
actually
You would
it's
think,
changing
yeah,
before
you
our
would think,
eyes. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Yeah, again, I don't know what they're gonna be doing with the humans. Like, what y'all honestly think? Y'all, this is the same system that want us to retire at these later ages. Y'all really think that these robots gonna take my generation jobs? I'm still in my 20s. What I'm gonna do for the rest of my life? What y'all want
That's
us to
right.
do? Y'all not giving out no free money. Like, yeah, the robot took your job. Here, you paid off. Y'all can't even do that right now. Y'all still ain't trying to give us reparations. Y'all didn't cure
Oh,
world hunger yet. Y'all didn't even cure the shelters, the old hungry kids in Africa, the native aboriginals, us, our reparations, our struggles, the slavery we done went through and still going through, and the miseducations, all of that stuff. And y'all meaning to tell me robots is here to help? That's why I'm like,
exactly. It's
people need
insane.
to keep in mind, like, this is backwards. I feel like they're moving 2 steps ahead but 5 steps back at the same time. Like, I personally, I feel like in a more ideal society, robots, AI can be of convenience, the true version of convenience, but that means humans have to be progressed and educated and know their worth and their power at a certain level to accept robots. But we not in that timeline. We are in a timeline that these mother effers is pushing out what they want while the rest of the
Yeah,
world gotta suffer the consequences, or they not catching up with the regular with us yet. We still deprived. We still going through a lot. So, people still out here shooting and killing and all types of stuff, and y'all releasing robots. I seen a video of this black guy. They get these people too. And the masses fall victim to it. They get these people that's belligerent and ignorant to what's really going on, and they don't know the full facts. They only know the good stuff. Like, for example, the iPhone, right? It's good for cameras, it's good for this and that, but it also store your data, store your DNA, all types of stuff. This guy got this Neuralink or whatever it's called attached to his head, and he had these technical technology events trying to promote it, right? And God knows how much he getting paid, and we all know we living in a world that you can money buys all types of BS. People who want to promote
true.
evil, people who want to promote good. So we living in a polarity society still. So I just think it's weird because this guy don't know what's going on. He trying to promote that this Neuralink's supposed to make you smarter, help you diagnose you with sickness before it hits, and it's still tests running. And he got these people, the masses, the people who don't know what's really going on in the government, what's really happening in front of them. They still playing an illusion. They buying it up because he's the
Yeah,
seller. He's the seller. You can pay this man. Who knows if he really want to kill himself in the next 10 years? They give him $1 million. We don't know his intention, so he gonna put that stuff in his head and try to promote it to the rest of the people. So if he can do it, everybody else can do it, right? It's possible. So um, I just see that as a scary thing, and a lot of people not keeping that in mind. Like, um, two, AI always been around. Like, again, back on the iPhone, we had alarm clocks, we had pagers, we had phones. Technology was singular. Now it was a specific item, right? You had like five
hmm,
different items. You had your alarm clock, you had your phone, you had your watch, you had your pager. Now it's all on this. They put
that's
it
right.
all on here. So people be like, "Oh yeah, you always on your phone or whatever." Well, I used to read the newspaper. We got the news on here too. So
Everything's on the phone
it's on the
now.
phone. This is the only gadget you need. It's just everywhere. So um, again, it's a scary thing with the AI, and I don't like seeing that whole promotion with the Neuralink and all of that stuff. And I'm believing at this point, if things progress the way that it's progressing, what's going to happen is we're going to see a human hybrid future. So I think that's going to be the next reset. I watched this guy, I'm going to send you his videos, but he talked about resets. Same thing with the Bible, with the
Okay.
floods and all of that stuff. We've been through civilization resets, and they have learned to interrupt your memory. So when you do come back and reincarnate, you don't know anything about this new world until they teach you. So eventually we're going to get to a point that the newest generations in the far future, 2086, these children are going to be born accepted of being a human hybrid because they already injecting people with the jab.
Oh,
The cat's out the bag. They already say those early stages. Anybody who got a jab have ingested an early stage of bio nano technology cells and all types of stuff with that. And I think it's going to become mandatory vaccinated when you have a newborn. They're going to inject that baby with some type of technology nano shit when they advance it at that point in time, and we're going to have human hybrids.
that
And
is crazy.
yeah, and they're gonna go back in time because remember, once upon a time, our ancestors and our culture and our people was not accepted as humans, right? When they was the people who wasn't really 100% human. So let's take that same law and that principle and philosophy and apply that to the future. So if your baby come out 100% human, maybe you ain't gonna have rights. They're gonna force
Yeah,
you to put a little nano injection and get those narrow links on the baby. Now the baby got protected rights by the law. You know what I'm saying?
that is crazy.
I think that's
And
where
I
that's
mean,
going.
thinking about all these machines and things with AI,
Mm,
I wonder if they have actually thought about and figured into the cost of maintenance. I mean, you know how much it costs to keep robots going, and
mm,
if you're sending robots here to Ulta Beauty to do nails, or you're sending a robot over here in fast food. I've actually seen one in a fast food restaurant. A couple years ago, Chick-fil-A rolled out their own robot. And I just couldn't believe it. They pick up your food, then they take it to your table and things of that nature, then the drive-through. And it's like, wow, with the maintenance of so many robots, I'm kind of leaning towards, well, maybe it won't last too long. Maybe it won't. But when I go on social media every day and I see so many young people saying, I just graduated from college, I can't find a job nowhere.
yeah,
Or you
that's
have
what I'm saying.
retirees that's
Hmm.
70 and 80 years old. They have to go back to work to survive, but there's no jobs available because
Hmm.
AI has literally taken over.
Yep, yep. Like I said, it's messed up because y'all taught us how to do these jobs. Now y'all just giving it to a robot. Where are we gonna go? Where's we gonna go?
That's right.
I need these answers. I'm pretty sure I put in the question out in the universe. I'm gonna have it pop up on the phone. You're probably gonna get the download. You might have some information you can share with me. That's my
Yeah.
curiosity right now. It's like y'all call yourself a good government system. Y'all care about the people, so such and such and such. If y'all care, educate us on where we're gonna go. There's a lot of people that don't know where they're gonna
They
go.
don't know.
They don't
They
know.
don't know.
They don't know what
Yeah,
I
they
don't know
don't
what they're
know.
gonna do. Like for example, right? I like to play basketball. I like to play video games. I got a sense of self. A lot of people don't have a sense of self. They're gonna go crazy. They're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know my talents. I don't know this and that. I just know the work. I just knew how to do that. So it's like,
That's
dang,
right.
is y'all really making a lot of robots to take these jobs so we can tap back into our power? If that's the case, say that. But I highly doubt it because why would you want that? Y'all work this hard to take our power away and groom us into being as used to the system. Why would y'all want to give us that freedom to get back independent and self worth and all that? I don't get it. So that's my curiosity. I wonder what they're gonna do. Where they're gonna put us. Where they're gonna
And the
put the
fact that
humans.
I get so disgusted when I see people still riding Teslas because, like Elon Musk, he actually petitioned he wanted to petition AI to discriminate against blacks where they could not purchase Teslas. And I'm thinking to myself, like, y'all still riding around in this man's vehicle. He
Mm-hmm,
doesn't want anything to do with y'all.
mm-hmm,
And for him to try to do that specifically towards, African Americans, it's sick.
mm-hmm,
It's sick and it's egregious. And I
mm-hmm.
feel like they're just trying to take so much away from us.
Yeah,
With the
yeah,
AI and thing, it's a lot of. I'm 44 years old, and never in my life did I think I would live to see racism. I just never, I never would have thought that
yeah.
because I kind of thought we was behind. That was behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I kind of thought that was like, old slavery day. But yeah,
Mm,
racism is still out here.
yep.
And then like I said,
Just
with this
take new
AI,
form.
it's just really, really bad.
Yeah.
There's no human interaction, no connection. Growing up,
Mm,
my parents, we sat around the table, we ate, we discussed our day. One no cell phones, one no TV. You
mm,
sat there, you discussed your day, you ate, you enjoyed dinner,
mm,
and after that, you do what you want to do. But
mm.
they've made it where there's no human interaction at all
Not at
these
all.
days.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, once upon a time, I think part of the illusion is people thinking the past generation is better than the future. People think the future is better than the past. I don't think there's no really true definition of what's better. I think every generation had a good and bad. Despite the whole
Yeah.
narrative they pushed on slavery, I'm pretty sure back in the day, our great grandparents can agree there was some really good things that they like, dang, I wish I still had that than what they got now, or
Hmm.
vice versa. So I like to stay neutral. I just like to, just go with whatever linear path that things is heading towards and just coexisting with it, because there is a convenience of having everything in hand, and there is a convenience to, again, the AI being here. That
Well, we have no choice but to
right,
coexist with it.
right, because we not in a position to dictate that. I put it in my video, like a lot of people, like I just seen a video of a young artist. He's upcoming. He's with the whole bandwagon of hating Trump, anti-Trump or whatever. And I'll comment. I'm the guy in the comments saying like, look, there is a consistency of people in this population agreeing that Trump is not a good president. He messing everything up. I don't see y'all doing nothing about it but complaining. Like, okay, imagine if I'm the big bad wolf and you a
What
whole
can
bunch
we
of
do?
right, and
What
y'all
can we do? They
right,
didn't vote.
right. It's kind of like the Three Little Pigs. Like y'all, the wolf come around, blow down y'all house, and y'all just run. But y'all complain, oh, the wolf keep coming around. What we gonna do about? No, y'all gang up and get the goddamn wolf. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that.
Yeah.
These presidents be walking around driving in these damn trucks. Y'all can stop this shit. They can only kill so many goddamn people and all that. I don't want things to get that extreme, but you motherfuckers gonna have to reload. You got a million people in front of you. The bullets ain't gonna be, and then you got people who got their own guns. And I seen a post. Somebody said, according to the Constitution, we were supposed to overthrow our government by now, but this is what they did. Once upon a time, right?
Hmm.
It was a promotion of family value or whatever. Now
Yeah.
that value still stands, but it took a backseat due to the current advancements of technology, right? Those
I
morals and
agree.
all that never really left. It's just the change in the time to distract you from knowing what's really going on. And we getting further and further apart from the Constitution and law that is going to become something that it's a myth. It's a that's so old. Like, is that really real? Because people have become so content with how everything is going, you know. And he right. We were supposed to have been overthrown. The taxation going on, the inflation
Yep.
going on, a lot of the BS, in the economy going on. The how you elect the president that had like 10 indictments is crazy,
Yes,
you
for the
know.
life of me, I don't understand that. But then you'll have a felon who's been to prison, done
Yep,
his time, got
yep,
out trying to do right, and
yep,
he'll have a hard time getting employment. How
yep,
is that fair? And
yep.
the main people that, oh my God, I can't believe everything's just high. Groceries, rent, everything's going out, going
Mm,
up. But did you vote though? I mean, people didn't, they didn't vote. And if they did, they didn't vote the right way. My
correct.
thing is, after his first term, why would people vote to put him back in office? I mean, he has literally just damaged the economy. He
Mm,
has. He
mm,
has just damaged it. And people are on edge now. They
mm-hmm,
are because from day to day, you don't know, okay, if I go in here, am I going to have a job, or going back to, is AI going to take over, or
mm-hmm.
is something else going to happen? Are we going to have another government shutdown? Am I going to be out of work for another few months? We just don't know.
Oh,
So, I mean, you literally have to take one day at a time.
time.
It's
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
I mean, it's scary.
Yeah, it always been scary, and also too, I like to think with these generations too. Again, like that whole stigma of, oh, the '70s, '80s better than 2000, 2010s. Well, kids who born in these modern eras don't see nothing wrong with their current generation, right? And I like to think like this: if you use your common sense, there's no such thing as a generation being better than the other, because you got to think like this: how the human brain works. The human brain only can work with what it is given. So you can hear me?
I'm hearing. I'm listening to you. Go
Okay.
ahead. I gotta get
So
my screen back on. There I am.
got you. So
Sorry.
so like for example, say we living in the 70s and the iPhone 12 came out. These people who was born, our parents who was in the 70s and 60s, they at our age now, right? Then they gonna work with that phone. They going to. We gonna be living. Say we living in a different timeline where technology that's here now was back then. We gonna see people
I
with
doubt it.
afros in the flare pens using the iPhone 12. So
I doubt that.
no,
I doubt that. My dad used to always say, "I don't need a phone." I've heard a lot of older generations
but
say
but
that I don't need a phone because
but this is the thing though. You take this timeline, put it in their generation. They're not gonna say that, because again, it's like how can I
they would
word
be
it?
forced to adapt.
Exactly, and that's gonna be the trend. Like they be like, they be saying stuff like, "Oh, not my generation." Like, no, you don't. You the same one who said not in my generation, but you the same one who fell victim to the ups and downs of your generation. So, which means if we throw a phone back there, eventually that's gonna be the new hit thing, and then you're gonna jump on it to get the ladies. You're gonna jump on it to talk to your boys. You're gonna do the same thing. Our generation is not different than the 70s. We would be living in the 70s if we didn't have these advancements. Like, okay, for example, I heard something about Cuba. Cuba, they still living in the 60s, even though it's 2010, 2001, because there's no technology advancement. So the new generations, they just recycling what that generation been doing. See, in America, we get the illusion of generation difference because technology is evolving. But if we had slowed down technology, we would be still practicing what the 70s and 80s doing. So, like I said, it's just all an illusion stigma trying to say it's like being left wing, right wing. It's playing into the matrix with the whole choosing the side. There's no such thing as any generation being different and better than one another. It's a lot of pros and cons with each generation, you know. And the
There
illusion
is.
is technology. I'm telling you, it's just the technology. If my dad grew up with an iPhone in his hands as a child, he will be on there too, watching goddamn Popeyes and Looney Tunes, just growing up in that timeline. You know what I'm saying? They call it what they call that, retro retrograde technology, kind of like when the
Yeah, I
technology
think
existed
so.
in that older era, but it's advanced. What is
Yeah.
it, retrograde? Yeah, yeah, that's a thing. That
Hmm.
is an actual thing. We just don't live in that timeline, but it does exist when technology existed then in an advanced form, and people were just using it then. So yeah,
You're
I be
right
trying
about
to
that. I
tell
never
people
thought
that.
about it that way because, yeah, eventually you would have to adapt to it. I mean, if it's
Yeah,
rolling now, that's like as far as, job applications. Back in my day, you would just go in, fill out the paper application, that was that.
mm,
Until people start rolling out, you have to go online to
lie.
fill it
Yeah,
out, you have to go online and do an assessment.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, if it's actually taking over what
yeah.
you thought was the norm, you have no choice but to roll with it. I
Right,
mean,
like
that's just the world
exactly.
we living in now.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, it's just again the only thing people could say, they need to say, it's not about the generation being better than another. It's about you lived in a time that the technology wasn't what it is. That's all you just gotta say. Clothing go in and out of style. If the 70s and 80s and 60s thought it was cool to wear skinny jeans inside your pants and it was popping, that would have been a thing then too. Because again, your human brain is still victim to this dimension. So what I'm saying is, unless you can travel in the future and past, you don't know no better. So you're gonna just grow up in that generation, whatever is popping in that generation, you're gonna be following through. My dad told me stories, my mom told me stories. Everybody got their stories of their generation. So I'm like, well, imagine taking technology and pushing it, then y'all would be adapted to that. Y'all be accustomed to that. But since you grew in that generation without having to deal with technology, and you at an age that you self sufficient, you knew how to survive without it. Now it's not really a mandatory thing to succumb to it. So like the future generation, we get older, they're gonna have phones that probably follow them 24/7. And we're gonna be sitting there like our grandparents sitting here today, like we're gonna be like, well, we already lived there, we done that. I mean, it's not really necessary, but I understand because this is what's being forced upon y'all generation. Because they did trends, they did the afro out, the lamb chops, the
Yeah, the
chest
bell
all out.
bottoms.
That was a trend. They were following the trend. But imagine an alternative timeline with just the braids or the taper, skinny jeans, they would have been wearing that.
Well, going back to the phones, I mean, I guess because now we have cellular phones, but
Hmm.
growing up, we had house phones, and then it
Yeah,
went to the car phones, and
yeah,
then it went to the cell phones.
yeah.
So I think now, since with the cell phones, they're portable, you can actually take them with you. That kind of
Hmm.
just it damaged a lot of mindsets. Because, like I said, with the house phone, you go on this phone for about an hour or two with your friend before bed, you go to sleep, you put the phone down. But
Hmm.
now it's like everyone's on the phone 24/7. And even though I understand that you could do a whole lot on a cell phone,
Hmm.
it doesn't beat human interaction. It just does not. I
Hmm.
mean, I remember being on public transportation, and one day I just looked around and everybody's head was down, like
Yeah, I
just
know it's
on their
scary.
phone.
It's
It's
scary.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just I don't know. It's weird, and seeing a post about someone. A few people made comments about this. A few posts too about
Hmm.
how people are making the AI flyers. No one's really original anymore. If they're
Yeah.
promoting a business or they're doing something else, they're just making AI flyers,
Hmm.
and even to the point where Google. They have AI. You try to search your business, AI is going to give you their own version
Versus.
of what they want to give you
Yeah. Yeah.
versus the actual owners and the actual business and what they do and things of that nature. So yeah, it's scary, and I can say I'm not ready for it. I don't want this, but hey, realization is it's already here.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think again, technology is it's a good and bad thing. So I read this book. It's called You're Not Dying, You're Just Waking Up. It's by Elizabeth April. I love referencing her book. I love sharing her because uh, she's an astral projector. She does past life regressions. She tapped into the spiritual power that we all have power to access. And she mentioned something about part of being born again, incarnating, or being a new soul coming here. We have to understand the law of polarity before we enter this dimension, or we won't be allowed to enter here because we're going to interrupt the flow of this dimension. So what you mean by that is it have to be a balance of good and evil, I guess. If that's how I'm interpreting it. So again, whether we like the advancements of technology or not, it is needed. We always coexisted with technology. We just kept adapting, kept evolving, and and we understood spiritually the duality of again this dimension, the good and bad of everything, and we just learning our involvement as the human race, or the entities that we are, we involving with technology as a coexisting cooperative
You have to get
motion.
in where you fit in.
Right.
Yeah.
Because again, once upon a time, we didn't have guns. We had the arrows. We had the knives. We made our own technology at the time, and over the years, it adapted,
That's right.
adapted. We were using horsebacks. Then we attached wheels to the horses, and then we attached goddamn the motors and shit. And then we didn't need the horses as much. And now we got these supercars. Same
Hmm.
thing with communicating. First it was goddamn telepath, our power telepath, the dreams, all that. And then it became with the animals, uh, sending the birds out, whatever they used to do then, and then it became the cell phone eventually, and now it's more this advancement.
Evolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's evolving just like us. It's here to
That's
help,
right.
but if it get into the wrong hands, this is where we have conversations like this. We just like, damn, what the hell? Y'all didn't even take care of this first, and y'all pushing that, and that goes into my
That's
next
right.
thing too, like the current state of why things is kind of like iffy anyway, and it could be a little more polarity balance, like everybody more on the same page, is because we are under siege or attacked or what they call a spiritual war. We are being occupied by low vibrational entities that doesn't have high, access to higher dimension energy and knowledge. So it's kind of like what I'm saying is like let a dog, right? Elect the dog to be the president to rule over people. What that dog gonna do? What a dog does, it's gonna do dog shit, right? So we
Yeah.
can't expect a dog to be more than a dog. So how do you expect these these bloodlines that come from, you know, whatever conspiracy is, the Illuminati, the Dracons, the reptilians, to actually be of service to the other, you know, entities like us, the melanin people, the other folks,
Mhm.
whatever, if their whole nature is to be low vibrational and to be evil in some shape or fashion, you know, or what we do. So that's why I tell people, like, you can't expect somebody to be good when they were made to be bad. You know, they won't elect
Yeah.
somebody with a good soul to be president because that's not where they trying to make things
Or
be.
a female.
Or female, yep, yep, which we had
They
plenty
will not allow
in
it.
our old civilizations. We used to have plenty of women chiefs that used to hold things down, the matriarch as they call it, and that's where they ushered the patriarch. It's all inverted and all that stuff, and that's what they doing with technology is to insert their low vibrations and their manifestation energies into the AI, and that's how they programming them. That's why I've been seeing posts about conspiracy people talk about how they trying to manifest the Antichrist in real time through technology that's harvesting from us human beings, our souls, our essence, and all that. We giving power to the beast, literally, because it's
Oh.
it's not quite working as well trying to get the Antichrist to manifest here like Jesus did in the human vessel. So they trying to kind of make a hybrid AI entity that was derived from living souls, beings like us, but also programmed on a low vibrational antichrist energy. And that's where we're gonna get a lot of that antichrist
That is
bullshit matrix
crazy.
stuff in the far future with these robots. Because they're the one behind it. It's not us, it's not the higher dimensional beings, the Anunnakis, the melanin, the carbon, the true children of the God, the seeds of the earth, you know what I'm saying? We have access to higher vibrational levels, right? And these hybrid individuals don't. And but they're the main ones that investing into the advancements of AI, into the robots and all of that stuff. So what do you expect these robots to do eventually?
Yeah.
They're gonna go
And
haywire. They're gonna start doing dumb
technology.
shit.
Exactly. And I don't want no one to ever think I'm just knocking technology, but I always say it's a good thing if it's utilized correctly. It's like social media. It's a great platform if utilized correctly.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and like
yeah.
the world we live in, so what can you do?
Right. Right. And that's why I always say just experience. This is just experience. You know, you also have the option. We all have choices. You know, it's called free will. So she said that in her book too. She said that she communicated with the Galactic Confederation a lot. I've seen other videos of individuals who also confirmed there's a Galactic Confederation of extraterrestrial beings, and they outside of this, you know, dimension that we don't typically have access to see or communicate with. But they was mentioning free will. So like there's different timelines and different parallels of how things can be and should be. And we can personally manifest that for ourselves. But it's gonna
Mhm.
take a collective to get on that same vibration, that same frequency so we can shift it into a more ideal world where we can be, because that's what they're doing. That's what the powers that be is doing. They understand the laws of the universe. They understand the energies and all that. They know how things work. They know how the manipulation works. And like I said, they already infiltrated the whole soul carnation system and all that, and they interrupted that. Now they got us back here brain dead. We don't know nothing. We traumatized as babies. That's how they interrupt our connection to the higher dimensions too, with the whole traumatized, birthing shit at these hospitals. They know exactly what they're doing to keep their agenda going because they're keep manifesting it. They wake up, they don't work a job like we do. They wake up, they go to their little ritual ceremonies, they say they chants, they do their rituals, and then they go out, send their agents into the system and push their agendas. And we out here playing right into it. That's why I'm like, y'all sitting here complaining about Trump, the technology, and all this and that, but y'all not doing enough about it. So I mean, knowing my position, I'm accepted of this is the reality that we're living in. So I start seeing that people starting to shift for the better. I start joining the fray, but I'm just going with the flow because they have shown me enough that they will kill you if you get too much attention. They would blackmail you. They would ban you if you just keep going out there trying to interrupt what they got going on, and it ain't much you can do because they made sure if you're not part of their bloodlines, that's part of their game too. They can take you out because who's gonna stop
That's
them?
right. And it makes you kind of wonder, is it worth it? I have so much to
Yeah,
lose, and if it was like you said, if I had like a group of people behind me that's willing to boycott and everybody on the same page and we're all on the same level and have the same mindset, then yeah, I'll take in consideration, actually, geared towards doing something or protesting about it. But, when you're the only one out of 10 people or whatever that thinks that way, it's kind of difficult
yeah.
because, like you said, they'll blackmail you, they'll kill you, they'll do so much. So it's kind of like,
You're outnumbered. You're outnumbered.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
outnumbered.
And you gotta understand too, I've been seeing videos, doing research. We really around a lot of spiritual people, but not really soul beings, people like us who can see beyond the illusion and try to use our common sense a little more instead of just being, oh yeah, okay, that's how things gonna go, let's go. A lot of people is cloned. Again, a lot of us original God beings, the entities, the higher dimensional life forces, which is us, we've been attacked, we've been colonized, we've been compromised, and we still under that force right now. So we've been outnumbered. We've been outnumbered for centuries now. They done killed a lot of our leaders. They took y'all women out of y'all proper matriarchal status. They got us men weak and confused and don't know what the hell going on. Um, it's a lot, and this is all in the plans to usher the AI. It's all in the plans. These people, like I said, she's an astral projector, so time is only linear to the human body in this dimension, in this physical realm. But outside of that, you can go into the future. She said she went to the past, and she understood that the first beings, which is us and the reptilians, right? We've been at war with them in a sense because the reptilians they didn't want to give up Earth because they felt like they was here first. The Anunnakis, us, the intellectual beings that we are, we came here to try to chill and try to coexist with them. And things went sideways. Some stayed. The higher up reptilians, they stayed. And they started to get contracts with splicing the human Homo erectus DNA. That's how we get all these different cultures of people and all that. They derive from us, but then they also derive from reptilians, and then the Greys came. All these different species of extraterrestrials came to give their share to help the evolution of the human race. But I say all this to say, like, she have access to the timelines and shit like that. So a lot of us don't. So a lot of us, so with the AI, they can usher these AIs in their agenda because they tap it into outside of the human body. They can see the future. They like, oh shoot, let's bring this back to the past. Let's orchestrate this. Let's do that now so we can manifest that future. So that's another thing I try to let people know. Like, we are playing with forces way out of our league, and we have been so dumbed down that it's gonna take us years to start to really tap back into our power and our mission to kind of interrupt their
Togetherness.
plans.
Yeah, togetherness. And you said something earlier about we're being outnumbered.
Mm,
That might be true, but not impossible. I mean,
right.
if, like I said, if it was more of us that stuck together and get out the crab, crab in the bucket mentality, or, I don't like this person and blah, 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 such and such, you know how powerful of a force our people, can actually be to accomplish something. I
Mm,
mean, we would be able to do so much, but the mentality and the mindset, it has to change in a lot of us.
mhm.
I mean, it does.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Sometimes they say it's
It
better if
does.
you just have a new generation. You can get them while they're young than getting them while they're old. Because how the human brain works is just something that you don't want to tamper with people's reality too much. They go haywire. They can go crazy. It's very unexpected depending on the results by trying to wake people up. That's why some people have to come in different timelines, different lives to wake up eventually. She said in her book too about that, the whole reincarnation. Like she said that a lot of what we doing now is parallel to our past life. She said you don't just read this book by accident. You don't just have conversations with people like what we doing right now by accident. Some point in your past lives, you was already highly intelligent, and your one of your missions is remember that and teach other soul beings like, hey, wake back up. Some of these souls, they forget. She says some people live the whole timeline not on waking up ever. Like they keep living, reincarnating, dying, reincarnating, coming back, never wake up. She's like, yeah, this is weird. She's like, yeah, that's very weird. And I'm like, wow. I'm glad that I'm definitely one of them. Sometimes I feel like I was probably a chief in my past life. I went down to Florida a few years ago, and I felt like I was there before. I felt a connection. I'm like, yo, I've been here before. It feels so familiar, very familiar. I'm like, yo, this feels like home to me. Something spiritually, like I just felt it. I'm like, yo, this feels like home. And you know, speaking of technology, a lot of the technology was astrology. You know what I'm saying? Astrology, numerology. These was the predecessors technology that people, that us humans used to use to tap into the AI of that time, to know what's coming, to know how to program things and all of that stuff. Um, um, what am I gonna say? Oh, damn, I lost the train of thought. But it was definitely something within the whole timeline thing of me being born down there.
Well,
Oh,
Melo,
I was gonna say, cities can be traps. Like sometimes they use the whole cheat code of making sure that strong being souls is redirected in bloodlines they're not supposed to be in, or not really, or that's the theory, or they say, if that is true, that makes sense. A lot of they can't be having these strong spirit beings being born into the right bloodline like they're supposed to. We messing with some people who know their stuff. That's all they do is do a lot of spiritual stuff every day. They're not too busy being distracted with jobs like us and trying to survive. That's part of the plan to keep us away from interrupting these plans.
that's true.
Yeah, I'm telling
Well,
you.
Melo, I appreciate you being a guest on Couch Chat Podcast. I really enjoyed this conversation about AI. And
Yeah,
if you would tag the author in the edits if you can,
yeah,
that way,
Elizabeth. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
put that in there. Also,
yeah,
logo and things like that. You can cut
mhm.
this last part. It's just me and you talking.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want
So
me to
yeah,
pause? You want me to stop the recording?
you
Okay.
can.